Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week, I welcome Chris Sear of Team O'Neill. At first, we chat a bit about our thoughts on podcasting before Chris takes us on his motorsports journey, starting with attending his first rally at age 16. He then discusses how he tried to balance a career and business together with his rally dreams. At one point, Chris almost gave up on his rally dreams, but a tragic event that took place in the city where he was living made him take a chance and reach out to Tim O'Neill. He talks about how he was hired at Team O'Neill and how he helped the company create a stronger foundation and how he ultimately became a partner. We also discuss Chris's passion for competing, winning a championship, and putting family first. Would you like to get started?
Sure. Yeah, I skimmed the questions, and are you do you typically just tend to follow the questions as they are? Do
Yeah,
you
pretty
deviate
much.
in the conversation, or?
I'm really open and flexible. A lot of times it depends on the person I'm interviewing. I don't think I'll have that problem with you. So I'm not really strict. And I actually made some notes that we can veer off a few of the questions a
I
little bit.
love that. I love,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
making it more of a conversation,
Yeah,
and
right.
if there's anything that you want to understand and learn more about. I tend to, especially with this journey, told my story so many times.
Yeah.
It seems to get longer
It's okay.
every time for some reason. So
That's fine.
if you like me to, is there a timeline goal limit that you're trying to stay within, or
No,
is there
I
something?
just try to keep it to a half an hour, and if it goes a lot longer, then that's fine. I got to work on getting a little more consistent and posting, but it's kind of idiotic of me maybe to have do one a week. It's a little bit much,
A
but
lot.
yeah, it's a
But
lot.
that's
So
how podcasts are, like, in my research of podcast
yeah,
success. You have to be at the one a week mark to maintain that client listenership.
yeah,
And the 30 to 45-minute mark is the right number because it's what most people can consume in one day, right? If you're
right,
driving to
yeah,
work, you ideally want to be able to at least get them done by the time they got back home. So in two driving sessions is what most people's
yeah,
attention span would be for a podcast. I obviously didn't go that route. I do my podcast more for my personal goals and
yeah.
personal, just like to get to know the people I interview.
It's kind of where I'm
Um,
at. I want to learn more about rally.
so I
You
don't
know,
care about like maximizing the
right?
model of the perfect
Yeah.
podcast, but yeah. So
Yeah, it's
I
interesting reading the stats. If like I'll be up to over 40 podcasts, I think, here by next week, and over 5,000 downloads, which I know isn't huge, but that still puts me in like the top 5% because most
right,
people quit after just a couple of episodes. So,
right.
but man, I love, I'm a lifelong learner, so that's my goal is to learn as much as I can.
Same
If what
power,
I
yeah.
learn, I can share. So I guess that's the museum and education kind of background that I have. So
Well, then you're a good podcast host, so I think that's a good
thanks, thanks.
point.
So let's get started if you want.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds great.
so how did your motorsports journey begin? Growing up, were your family really into cars, or how did that kind of start?
Yeah, geez, my motorsport journey is not a traditional path, I would say.
Hmm.
My family really had no background or experience in motorsport. My dad had some cars sitting in the parking area around my house
Hmm.
that were, cars that he wished to work on, a 914 Porsche,
Oh,
Jeep,
nice.
Jeep truck, the Commander, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah.
Both I never saw run my entire life, but like he always talked about working on them and
Yeah.
building them back up into cars because he liked driving. And
Yep.
But by the time I was born, he never really was into it anymore. So I always saw these cars in my yard of like, it'd be cool someday
Mhm.
to get to see these things run. And sadly, I never did. But
Yeah.
um, I was in rural Colorado, and in rural Colorado, we needed cars that had all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive.
Right.
And my mom in the middle 90s had a Subaru, not a Brat, a GXL, I think it was called,
Hmm.
all-wheel drive little Subaru car, and we ended up crashing it, or she ended up crashing it with
Oh wow.
us car. But always having a car with four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive was super important in our
Hmm.
area. And so when I was 16, I wanted to have something that was all-wheel drive, and the Subaru was attractive. And
Yeah.
so I told my mom I wanted a blue Subaru with gold rims, like you would. And
Yeah.
we found a '92 Subaru Legacy maroon automatic. Pretty much everything I didn't want in my first car. And
Right. Oh
she's like,
yeah.
"This is I'm willing to give you $2,000. It was a $4,000 car, and she's got 2 grand, and I had somehow 2 grand saved in a bank
Yeah.
account. That was my first car. But my whole reason for all of that is my best friend, his name is Spencer, in high school, or through my entire early education,
Yeah.
his brother found out about drifting. And
Mm.
uh, so we were getting into like Japanese drift culture and Initial D and all these things, and we didn't know really how to access it. But Speed TV late at night has this rally stuff on, and we're trying to kind of figure out what we can consume about 15 and a half before we have our driver's license.
Yeah.
And we find out about stage rally exists in the US
Hmm.
through him. I think I was actually my best friend's buddy told us that there was a rally in Colorado.
Cool.
So, April of 2005, I turned 16. September of 2005, no, 2005, 2003, was Colorado Cog Rally.
Okay.
And so my best friend and I go to the Cog Rally and go see our first stage rally. And it is so hard to watch a rally, right? If everyone
It
probably
is.
listening to this has been to a rally, so you guys understand that it is like if first time you ever show up to a rally as a spectator, having no background, never been a volunteer or any sort of understanding, like where do you go, what do you do, what's going on? We
Right.
had no idea. So we wanted to be early to everything. We didn't want to miss any of it. So we get in a day early. We get a spectator guide locally. We look through it. We figure out how to get to the first spectator point. I think we even recce'd the first spectator point the first night. And then we go back out at 6 a.m. the next morning, and the stage is going to
Hmm.
run at like noon.
Oh
Uh,
wow. That's early.
we got there before the volunteers. Like, there's no bannering or marking, and we sleep in our car for a few hours. And then like some volunteers, like 8 or 9 o'clock, show up and start to
Yeah.
ban the road off. So yeah, we're just sitting there, and there's a ridge, and you can see the road on top of the ridge, and the road comes down right in front of us where we're spectating at a T junction in the road.
Okay. Cool.
So, it's starting to finally, things are happening. Tons of spectators are showing up. So now it's like becoming a thing. And hear a car coming over the ridge, and you see like some plumes of dust. And then we see a white Evo drive right off the ridge. And it's
Oh
a
wow.
grassy hillside.
Yeah.
And it was Jeff Swart, actually,
Oh
and
wow. Okay.
in a Mitsubishi Evo, and he drives off the ridge. We're like, whoa, what just happened? Second car drives off the ridge and doesn't turn downhill and rolls his car. So that car
Oh my
rolls.
word.
Third car rolls. We're 16-year-old kids, and the very first thing in motorsports you ever see is just this carnage. Like,
Right.
it's like a quarter mile away, but just like sitting there
Oh my
witnessing this, like,
word.
what is happening? This is so amazing. And what ended up, I only found this out like 5 or 6 years ago. So
Hmm.
this was in 2003. What At that time you had organizer supplied notes, and they
Okay.
didn't do recce. And so
Uh,
there was an error in the organizer supplied notes where it was the note said right, but it was a left. So I guess they come around like a blind corner and they're
Hmm.
set up to go right, and it's a hard left.
Oh
And
no.
so they all the third car, someone got a little bit injured, so they red crossed the stage and canceled the rest of the
Oh my
stage.
word.
And but yeah, so this is my very first exposure into motorsports, 16 years old, and like this actually was Tanner Faust's first rally as well that I come to
Oh,
find out
okay.
later as well. So I got to meet him, and I'm like, I was actually at your very first rally as a spectator. Um, so for me, and then we have Pikes Peak. So like I got to back up,
Oh, very
Colorado
cool.
Hog Rally, and then the next year I went to Pikes Peak, and it's just kind of reinforced this like I really want to
Yeah.
go do this thing,
Hmm.
but I have no one in my life that can teach me how to do this, or I have no
Right.
path that is clear.
Hmm.
And so I go to college, 18 years old. Also, when I was eight, right before I went to college, I did find a blue Subaru GC Coupe, blue rims, blue Subaru, gold rims, had been in a crash,
Okay.
and so wanted $8,000 for this crashed GC. And I'm like, Mom, I gotta find a way.
Yeah.
So I sold the Legacy and I got a loan from my mom and I bought the car. I was
Oh,
able to save
cool.
up $4,000 at that
Yeah.
point. So I got 4,000 from her on a loan and I had
Yeah.
4,000 and bought my the blue Subaru that I was able to take to college. And the front end was all mangled and it was drivable, but it
Yeah.
was it was not in great shape. And I ended up driving that car for like 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Uh, but I drive that car to college and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my life. And I figured business guys were the ones that made enough money to go racing someday. So
Yeah,
it was
there you
just
go.
kind of a hunch and understanding that racing's expensive.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to way to make any money right now other than like I guess business guys know how to make money probably.
Yeah.
So I started a path into business with the entire intent of finding a way to go racing. That was my goal.
Cool.
So that's the kind of the origin story part of it. We can kind of there's some paths we can go from there, but yeah,
Yeah.
does that answer that question, I think.
So after college and before you got involved with Team O'Neill, what was kind of your history, like your work history before you became
Yeah,
CEO and
yeah.
partner of O'Neill?
I love that question. Thank you. So I was into teaching.
Hmm.
So originally I wanted to become a teacher, and my freshman or first year out of college, I came home and I taught daycare. And so
Hmm.
I liked teaching, and I looked at a teacher's salary, and I'm like, I can't do this for
Right.
a job.
Yeah.
So my second year of college, I start looking around for another way to make money, and
Hmm.
I'm looking for things to do. And there's an advertisement on my college campus for make a ton of money this summer. I'm like, perfect,
Why
that's what I'm
not?
looking for.
Right.
What it ended up being was it was a recruiting effort for what's called College Pro Painters
Oh,
and
yeah.
a house painting franchise company. And what they do is they give college students a franchise and they teach you how to run a business.
Hmm.
And it's a house painting company. And so I recruited and I went through the interview process and I got hired to run a house painting franchise or given a house painting
Yeah.
franchise to run in Laramie, Wyoming, and Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is where I went to college.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And the crucible of learning how to run your first business for the first time is intense. And I'm so grateful to have the structure of a franchise company that was
Oh,
willing to
right. Yeah.
carry me through the process. Because I I don't really call myself an entrepreneur. Like I think there's a big difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
I think Tim O'Neill is an entrepreneur, the
Yeah.
founder of the Rally School, someone who took something from raw nothing
Yeah.
and built this amazing business. I learned how to run a business with support with the franchise company.
Hmm.
And then I learned that one of my bigger skill sets is like human resources and putting the right people in the right places.
Okay.
And I've really found, I think, my strength is making something that already exists better. And so I ran business my first year. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I had horrible hiring tactics and brought all the wrong
Mm,
people on. I let customers walk all over me. I made just enough money to buy a ring for my girlfriend at the time. So
yeah,
the
okay.
best investment I've ever made in my entire life was the wedding ring for my now current wife and mother of my
Okay.
three children.
Awesome.
Um, but that was my profits of my first year of running my house painting franchise. My sophomore year of college was
There you go.
going to that. And but I met my wife at 18 years old at freshman year of college, and I had the blue Subaru with gold rims, and I'm telling her about this dream of starting a business, making
Yeah.
money, doing all these things to eventually go to a rally someday.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, that's
she's
cool.
been along the path the whole way with me, and honestly been a huge part of my successes,
Yeah.
knowing that she's been there to support me. Um, but so learning how to run businesses, and I did it
Yeah.
inside a franchise structure, and I did it for 4 more years. So I went through and I did
Oh, okay.
re-upped for 4 more years as a franchise owner, and I went from I think I made $3,000 my first year.
Hmm.
The fourth year I ran my franchise, which was 2009
Okay.
recession, things are not
Oh,
going well. I
right.
made
Yeah.
I made $50,000 that summer painting houses. And as a, fairly broke college student, like
Right.
this was life-changing
That's
level of
pretty
money.
good.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I finally have enough money to start a rally team.
There you go.
Come to find out 50 grand is still not enough to start a rally team.
Right.
And this was the kind of the peak of the recession. And, I'm still a little bit risk adverse. So I was like, this just doesn't feel like the right time to like
Yeah.
go all in for rally. And the corporate company was willing to bring me on and teach me the next phase of franchise, which is
Hmm.
teaching business owners how to run businesses.
Oh, okay.
Which was such a really cool opportunity. So I doubled down on the business side of things rather than start my rally career and learned how to teach business owners
Okay.
how to start their franchise. So
So that love of
I'm,
teaching was there, like you said, when you first started teaching. So it kind of came around full circle a bit
I
there.
was
Yeah.
shocked how quickly I was able to put my passion for
Yeah.
teaching into being able to run businesses. And
Hmm.
I fell in love with running businesses as much as I've fallen in love with racing and
Oh,
motorsports.
yeah.
So it was like, as much as I wasn't pursuing my initial passion, I was okay putting it on the side because I was just so in love with learning how to run a business
Hmm.
and the focusing on all the things to work on and working with other people running their businesses for the first time. So over a few years, I helped start and manage about 80 franchise owners from
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wyoming, Colorado, and then in 2012, I told the company that I was college pro that I wanted to spend a few years outside of Colorado. And there's a market in Seattle and there was a market in Boston. And I'm like, there's opportunities in both of those. I
Yeah.
like Seattle. I've been there a bunch. I've never been to the East Coast. I've never even seen, but is there any opportunity for me to move to one of those locations?
Yeah.
And they're like, we might have an opportunity in Seattle. We think there's more opportunity in Boston. I was like, I'd really like to see what's in Seattle, just because I'd been there a few times and I had a
Yeah.
few friends that lived there. And they're like, yeah, no, there's nothing available in Seattle. So if you want to move, you got to move to Boston.
Hmm.
And I made a pros cons list. I write in
Yeah.
my life every time I have like a big opportunity, I write out like the reasons why I should or shouldn't do it. The top of the pros list to move to Boston was so that I could go to Team O'Neill and start my rally career.
Oh, okay. Very
So
cool.
and so I was 24 at the time. The company sent me and my wife out for a week to look around the Boston area and see if we
Hmm.
could live there. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like I had a vision of the East Coast being this like overgrown metropolis and
Right. Yeah.
fly into Boston and we drive out of the city 20 minutes and there's green everywhere and
Right.
there's
Oh, yeah.
billboards and there's like just tree covered highways everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is not the vision of what I thought, the East Coast was. And
Yeah.
like it was a lot more rural and a lot more access. I'm from rural Colorado. Laramie, Wyoming was a
Yeah.
very rural area. So like I kind of more attracted to the rural area, but the company was in downtown Boston or
Hmm.
right outside of downtown Boston. So I was like, we did the city life thing for a few years, and
Yeah.
definitely found out I'm definitely not a city life type of guy. But um, so we moved to Boston. We're out and I'm starting to run the business, and it's just not working like I had hoped.
Okay.
Um, so we moved, and in February 2013, I told my wife I'm gonna stop pursuing the dream of rally
Oh,
so
okay.
that I can stop becoming a business guy. Like I'm working so hard in this thing because I was trying to find a way to make enough money, and
Hmm.
it didn't feel like it was working. I'm 27 or 8 at the time, and she looked at me and goes, "I've been listening to your effing stories for all these years, and you're not gonna effing quit on me now." And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like I was shocked because I thought she was like ready to have kids, ready to settle
Right,
down,
right,
ready
right.
to slow down because I'm working a lot of hours. Like
Yeah.
we were eating dinner at 11 o'clock at night. I'm back out of the home at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Like I'm texting and I'm talking to her only by like texting and phone calls more than I
Yeah.
am seeing her in person at that point in our lives. But she wouldn't let me quit.
We'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts, they build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show.
And then April of 2013 is when the Boston bombings happened. And
All right.
so we were outside of Boston but we were part of the shutdown when they were looking for the terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And was in my house and I sent an email to info@Team O'Neill that day
Yeah.
saying, I've got all these business skills. Is there a way I could see if there's an opportunity to trade you business coaching for a chance to do a rally school?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is at info@Team O'Neill. And Tim O'Neill calls me the next day, and like I knew who Tim was. This is like getting a call from Travis Pastrana, right? For
Right. Yeah.
most of us in motorsports. Like Tim O'Neill is calling me on my cell phone,
That's awesome.
and I'm like, I can't believe this, and he's just starting to ask me questions, and uh, I I was so grateful to have the crucible of experience that I had for the last 7 years of running businesses and teaching other people how to run businesses
Mm-hmm.
because Team O'Neill needed it at that point, 2013. Team O'Neill was struggling. Tim had run a business for 15 years at that
Yeah.
point and built a amazing group of staff and an amazing, infrastructure, but he admittedly isn't a great business guy. So he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to put process in place, doesn't know how to do the handbooks, doesn't know how to do annual reviews, doesn't know how to do the like HR human
Right.
resource side
Okay.
of things that keeps your staff cohesive and glued
And
together.
that's
And
that's something that a lot of people don't want to do too as business owners. They're like, "Oh
he's
man, I
really good at
dread doing
driving. Like,
HR stuff." Yeah.
why would he spend the time to get good at that? Like,
Yeah.
it's not his skill set. And that's where
Yeah.
a lot of founders fail in business is because they don't have the realization they need to bring in somebody else to help with the next phase of their company. So I give
Right.
Tim a lot of credit for like understanding his own weakness and
Mm-hmm.
understanding what he was looking for and my ability to be very lucky in my timing.
Right.
Open up the door for me to walk in and so we just start talking as like like I'm just envisioning I'm an advisor to
Okay.
just for trade for a rally school. I'm not like applying for a job, right?
Right. Okay.
And I come up to Team O'Neill for my first day just to see the place, and a giddy little schoolgirl, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
driving my blue Subaru up, of course. And I actually went and bought my first piece of flannel from Goodwill in Boston because I knew I couldn't show up to northern New Hampshire in like a suit and tie.
Oh right, yeah.
So like I bought a pair of jeans and I bought flannel just to like try to like not look like such a poser.
Right, yeah.
And I spend my whole day with Tim, and I write like a 15-page report afterwards of like all these things I see that I think he should work on, and then he asked me if I'd be willing to come work at the company and implement the changes that I offered.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I'm like, I didn't realize we were talking about employment, and so I'm like, okay, what's the deal? He's like, I got to have you interview with my accountant. Like, this
Yeah.
is my accountant's the one. And I interview with the accountant, and he's like, we're looking to take on a general manager type of role. Um, the company is almost bankrupt. I need you to
Mm.
understand your job would be to come in and save the company, and we can hire you week by week. And if you fix the business, then you have a job. And if you don't, then we're all out of it.
Okay,
So
got it. Yeah.
I'm 27 years old. I don't have kids, and I'm like, I can put everything that I've done to my dream of like these are the colliding of two things that
Right.
I had like such the dream and vision to do, and and they offered me half the pay I was making in Boston. I'm like,
I'll take
I
it.
call my wife, and she's like, "You'd be crazy not to do it." And I'm like, she has to stay in Boston, stay working. So we spent like 3 months apart. The first 3 months I worked at T,
Wow.
she stayed in Boston. I stayed on the floor of Brent Trail, who's our lead instructor now at Team O'Neill. He let me stay on the floor of an extra bedroom he had, and
Oh, cool.
ended up like a few weeks later found a mattress from a kid that threw it out on the street. So I had like a kid twin mattress that's probably full of bugs and stuff, and I'm
Right.
sleeping on the floor. But I'm at the office every day because
Yeah.
I know how vital it is, and we're just trying to figure out things. My second day of work, Ken Block shows up because it's
Oh,
right before
wow. Yeah.
Forest Rally, and I'm like so overwhelmed with all the things that are happening around me. And everyone
Yeah.
around Team O'Neill's like seen him and been around him so many times. So everyone's really cool. I'm like unmanageable and
I
you
bet.
little fangirl that I was trying not to like be overwhelmed by everything
Yeah.
that was happening around me. And I just got to work. And we've, there's a lot of things that have happened and ebbs and flows, but we're in a
Yeah.
much different position than we are now. And really just put the process and the things that I knew how to do into
Hmm.
the structure of what Tim had built. And we partnered, Tim and I became business partners in 2019. He did
Nice.
an amazing owner finance opportunity for me because he paid me no money for a number of years, so he knew
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
have anything to pay him. So,
So it's
uh,
definitely a passion. Yeah.
but we wanted to carry his legacy on, and now with the time that I've been here, I really understand his vision of what is
Yeah.
proper driver's training, and there's things that we do differently, and we want to maintain that status that we've had over time. So.
Right.
That's kind of how I got here and what
Very cool.
the intro into Team O'Neill looked like.
Yeah. So Team O'Neill, you're just north of Littleton, New Hampshire. So you're
Yeah,
not
two
too
and a
far
half
from
hours
Mount
north
Washington.
of Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah.
fly into Boston, there's 93. You can fly into Boston, get on 93 in Boston, exit 43, Ken Block.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire, it's Dalton. Take a right, and you'll be at Team O'Neill in about
Oh,
10 minutes.
I've flown on that highway in a
Yeah,
car.
yeah. It's the we call it the New Hampshire. I call it the New Hampshire 500
Oh
because
yeah,
when
it's
you get it out of Boston and you're just everyone's driving 90 miles an hour
93 is that
together.
way, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up in Massachusetts, so I've driven
Oh, okay.
93 quite a bit. So then when you get into New Hampshire, it's like part of it is like just wide open, and
Yeah.
it's fun. But
Yeah.
um Littleton, I have family in Littleton.
You
So
do?
I do. And
Oh my goodness.
one of my favorite breweries is Schilling.
Yeah.
And that if no one's ever been to New England, Littleton is like the quintessential New
Main
England
Street.
town. It's on a river,
Yep.
like an old mill city, I'm assuming,
Yep.
and it's just
Waters.
absolutely beautiful up
Yep.
there. And the views about Washington and everything. It's just I love being up there. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Mount Washington's 13 miles by the crow fly. And we have a mountain at Team O'Neill, and when you're at the top of our mountain, you can see Mount Washington. But in the valley here, where do
Okay.
most of our training, you actually can't see the mountain from where we're doing most
Yeah.
of the training.
Well, since we're talking about Washington, Team O'Neill is going to be involved with the climb to the clouds next year.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a long history. Tim in 1990 set the world record. So he had the fastest time in 90. They took a
Okay.
long break in the after like the 60s or 70s. So it was the first year they brought it back in 1990
Mm-hmm.
after a long gap. And Tim had brought over a Rally Golf, which was an all-wheel drive variant that they Volkswagen built to compete with the Audi Quattro.
Mm-hmm.
And so that Tim O'Neill was their driver. And so they let him have a rally golf for the Mount Washington hill climb. And
Okay.
there's an
Cool.
amazing picture of Tim sideways over a crest on Mount Washington in the red rally golf. So if you just Google Tim
Yeah.
O'Neill Mount Washington, you guys will see the picture we're talking about. But it's like the Ken Block on the edge of Pikes Peak.
Very cool.
Tim did this in 90. Um, so Tim has like a lifetime pass to be able to return to the mountain, and then
Oh, that's
because
very
just
cool.
down the road, we wanted to make sure we've been trying the last few years to help them financially find more partners and sponsors, and
Mm-hmm.
we were able to come up with some money for them this year, and wanted to just make sure that the event could happen.
Yeah.
And but yeah, because they're right down the road from us, we want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that see that event happen as much as we can. But
Yeah.
we understand what it takes to host an event and the
Oh, yeah.
volunteers required, and Mount Washington makes a ton of money on that road. So, like, I understand as a business, why would they close it on a weekend day for a
Exactly.
race?
Yeah.
So they have to at least offset that
Yeah.
loss to the auto road, and it just takes a lot of effort to do that.
Yeah. Well, I on Monday I interviewed David Higgins,
Oh, cool.
and I asked him about Mount Washington hill climb, and he said he wants his title back from Travis,
Yeah.
and he said he would love the opportunity to maybe a one-on-one with Travis or something, because I think that gnaws at him that
Yeah.
Travis beat him, and although I guess
You need an
Travis
M
has,
Sport or somebody, an OEM. He needs a level of car that Travis had access to, and they
yeah,
own it from an OEM.
right. But he said
He's got
Travis already has David's name tattooed on his backside, from what I understand,
I
from
don't
losing a bet.
know.
That's what David said. I said, well, if you guys compete again and you beat him at Washington, maybe he has to get it tattooed again. He goes, well, no, Travis is just into dollar bets now. So
Yeah,
he
he
only
stopped
bets a
doing the tattoos.
dollar, no tattoos. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That
So
is super amazing.
it
I
would
could
be
see.
fun to see maybe a historic class or something of that nature, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We won't be
too.
part of any of the organization of it. We're just trying to make sure that they have what they need to do their
Right,
jobs.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it'll be interesting.
yeah, so at Team O'Neill, what kind of classes do you guys teach there?
Yeah, so Tim O'Neill had won 5 championships by the late 90s, and so he wanted to take all the skills that he had built becoming a
Hmm.
rally champion and boil it down into like the most important things that you could know to finish a rally. And so that is the core of our entire business model still to this day is
Hmm.
we're teaching you how to finish. We're not teaching you how to become a champion.
Yeah.
And so the goal is rally is so difficult already as it is. We're just trying to give you the toolbox that you need to get to the finish.
Hmm.
The interesting and cool thing about that, though, is that rally is getting from A to B as fast as possible in a production-based vehicle without breaking your equipment, right?
Hmm.
That skill is very valuable to other people. And I don't know, Tim didn't really fully understand the capabilities of what that could mean.
Yeah.
But pretty much from the beginning of our business and company, we've always had a government side of our business. So Tim was an Air Force veteran. He is passionate about the military and the government,
Hmm.
and he wanted to give a skill back to them that he didn't think they had. And Americans are known in the world as not being the best drivers. and it did happen to apply actually to our U.S. government. So he
Hmm.
was able to get some contracts actually and really help teach the United States government about rally driver training.
Oh, okay, very cool.
And that's been a big reason why Team O'Neill's been able to exist as long as we've had is, there's ebbs and flows in the sport of rally, but the U.S. government has always been able to want and need the ability to drive as fast as possible for me to be in a production-based vehicle without breaking equipment.
Yeah.
And there's, what rally drivers training is that skill. So even now to today, you can see military contracts available that use the term rally drivers training, and they say that they
Oh, wow.
learned
Okay.
that from Tim O'Neill. So like we're trying to do a documentary on Tim right now, and there's just a lot that he has done in the world.
Oh, yeah. I would love to learn more.
One of the other amazing, just quick stories is pretty much all of modern Google Maps and Waymo. He
Yeah.
trained the core engineer team on understanding how to drive autonomously driven vehicles. And the CTO of Google reached out to me 5 years ago to tell me this story to make sure I understood how important Tim was
Oh, wow.
to like the fact that Waymo exists, the Google Maps, and the way that Google self-driving vehicles, a lot of
Hmm.
it was a testament to ACP, Tim O'Neill, and some of the rally drivers that they
Oh, that's
brought in.
incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool to know. So, do you train any state police?
Yeah, so now
Shoot,
we have
because
three branches of our company
yeah,
effectively. We do commercial corporate work, we do the retail, just
yeah,
a rally driver enthusiast, and then we have military and government contracts.
yeah.
So we hold contracts with every branch of the U.S. government, and some smaller police
Okay.
forces. Yep.
Shoot, because those Massachusetts state cops are
Those guys don't
pretty
come.
intimidating, man.
They're
And
not
if they can
interested in
rally
training.
drive too, that's even that's even
Those guys
scarier.
seem to know what they think they know what they're doing. So I don't
Uh,
think they.
I've been pulled over on Route 2 in the Mass Pike a couple times, and they get out with that wide brimmed hat
Yeah.
and their pants tucked into the boots. It's like, oh, I'm never speeding again, ever.
They are intimidating. Yep.
Yeah,
No, we don't see those guys much.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's something that it's a very passionate part of our business and how we're able to really balance all the infrastructure of,
hmm.
we have 30 employees and they're all full-time staff with
Oh,
401ks and
okay.
healthcare, and it's a big entity now that requires a lot to maintain its status. And
Yeah,
so we're trying to have a lot going on and a lot of things to maintain that.
yeah. You mentioned earlier that Ken had been at the school.
Mhm.
What other notables have been there? I'm thinking Travis first learned at Team O'Neill, didn't he? Under
Yeah,
the
so if
guide he was guided by David Higgins, I think, perhaps.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you go to my podcast, and I interviewed Lance Smith a few months ago, so
Hmm.
Chris here 965, if you Google us on YouTube or any other podcast listening stations,
Yep.
the story was um, Ken Block was looking for to support Travis Pastrana as a DC shoe athlete, and so
Okay.
he needed someone to do that with. And Vermont Sports Car was really up and coming and a good resource. And Lance Smith told Ken to bring Travis over to Team O'Neill because Lance
Hmm.
Smith and Tim O'Neill have a good relationship and they're right down the road from each other. And we can bring in David Higgins and teach Travis how to, drive a rally car and see if he's got what it takes
Yeah.
to go racing. And so the version of the story that I've heard is that Ken came with not really an intent. He was excited by rally, but didn't
Yeah.
think he would be like a driver or a big deal.
Oh,
His
okay.
goal was to see if Travis would be worth supporting as a DC athlete.
Hmm.
And so Tim O'Neill and Ken went off and did some training while they're waiting for David and Travis.
Okay.
And the story that I've heard was that Tim, at the end of the day, told Ken, like, you actually have really good base skill. Like, you should consider doing rally drivers training. And that
Uh,
was like Tim's kind of validation of Ken's driving that day was the thing that helped change his mind or perspective on his ability
Hmm.
to actually go do this sport. And so yeah, so Ken and Travis spent quite a bit of time training and getting up to speed, and then pretty much annual trips since then, until he passed, where they would still come out. And then Lucy and the family were out this year. So
Oh, cool.
we are still spend a lot of time with those guys to help ensure they have what they need. And obviously a lot less training now at this point and just a facility for them to use. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, no, it's those guys are amazing. For me, Tim Ferriss came out, author of 4 Hour Work Week. He was pretty amazing to get to spend time
Oh,
with.
nice.
Vivian Campbell, Def Leppard lead guitarist.
Oh,
He's got
yeah.
a rally story, and his whole program is amazing. He lives in New Hampshire, actually, so
I'd
it's
love
kind of,
to talk to him. Yeah.
yeah, we can make that connection with
Oh,
you,
cool.
and he'd love to share his path. But yeah, so we've had other, kind of A-list celebrity types, but I try not to get too far into like sharing who our clients are because that's
Yeah,
a
that's
little bit
fine.
of
Just
those are the ones that we share pretty publicly.
yeah. Okay. Very cool. So, you had quite the American Rally Association season this year.
Yeah.
So tell us
Oh my
about your
goodness.
season leading up to Overmountain.
Yeah, well, and I want people to be very clear, this is 22 years of an overnight success, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
I want to make sure like it is clear I've spent my entire adult life trying to make this year happen.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so there was a lot that I had a visions in my 20s of being, the top national champion and on all-wheel drive car in a Subaru, like
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with Subarus, but realizing once I got to Team O'Neill, starting with a slow car first and understanding how to drive a two-wheel drive car. If your intent is to be around rally more than a
Right.
year,
Yeah.
all-wheel drive can hide a lot of mistakes and actually kind of make you a decent
Oh,
driver
that's interesting. Okay.
without you realizing it. So all two-wheel drive is brutal. If you don't
Yeah.
drive well, two-wheel drive will punish you immediately. And so it's a great training tool, a
Yeah.
great learning tool. So once I realized that, I decided to go to the Fiesta route. And I really honestly, once I got to Team O'Neill, decided I wasn't ever going to pursue a championship. I was like close enough to the flame that I didn't think I needed that like, resume checkbox of that 16-year-old needing
Gotcha. You're kind of getting
championship.
your fix then. Yeah.
Yeah, but once I bought the business with Tim or bought into the business with Tim, that kind of re came back up. I'm like, I've been around like 7 years now, and I am still thinking I do actually kind of want to do rally. And so we in 2014 won the championship with Ford in a Ford Fiesta ST.
Oh, okay.
ACP was our driver, and we had a spare shell built for ACP in case he crashed. Such an
Mm-hmm.
amazing driver, never crashed. That shell literally sat 30 feet away from my office here right now, outside in the snow and the rain since 2014
Oh,
until
wow.
2020. And I was like, Tim, that shell that's been sitting there for 6 years, can I just build that car
Yeah.
and use that to go rallying with? And so, like, part of my agreement with becoming a partner was that we would finish building that car and I would take it to go rally.
Nice.
And it took COVID happened, and that was a great opportunity for some of my staff to go look around our 600-acre campus for all the parts and pieces because we stripped the car and we didn't
Oh,
know
okay.
where all the parts went. And so we had to put the car back together, and it took over a year just to do that. And this was not someone's full-time job. This was like,
Yeah.
in between all the rest of the stuff that we did. So Jared Ainsworth, one of my mechanics and one of the instructors here, is now off running his own excavator company, built my car, and we got the car up to kind of the same spec that we built the ACP car without a sequential. So I did a
Mm.
standard gearbox and was able to have that car. So I started racing. And I knew I needed a few years of just going to do some rallies and
Yep.
getting my feet wet and understanding the co-driver role and understanding the note system. And so I effectively used Tim as my resource. I'm like, what do you think I should do, Tim? And
Huh.
okay, let's do 4 races this season. And that's what I did. And I had Martin Headland, my first co-driver, who won the championships with Tim O'Neill. And so he was a good driver coach.
Oh, very cool.
But he wasn't up to like the modern note systems. He was more old school and just
Mm-hmm.
focused on finishing. And we did less on the note system. And so once I kind of got to the maximum, like I started really driving consistently and realized the notes were the next thing to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Martin and I separated, and Tim had been sitting with Glenn Ray as a co-driver, and Tim's like, Glenn's really, really good. You should probably consider sitting with him. And so I think it was
Mm-hmm.
2023 LSPR. Glenn and I sat together,
Okay.
and we just clicked really well, and my speed factor went up, and he was working
Nice.
as hard as I was. I was working really hard. I was working out. I was
Mm-hmm.
focused on like everything I could do to be a better driver. He was focused on doing all of that for being a better co-driver.
Very
And
nice.
so we started working together, and 2024 I was going to go for the championship, and just money, I didn't have enough money, to be honest. So I had to have a shorter season last year,
Mm-hmm.
and still got third in the championship. And I'm like, gosh, I look at the numbers and the stats, and I'm like, I could have done one more event and potentially mathematically
Yeah.
like been in the running. So it's like, that's really sucks. But so we did well in 2024 and rolled right into 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I learned how to run businesses. I learned how to do all these things. I wasn't a mechanic, and I knew that I needed to rely on somebody else for that. And that's where the TRF angle came from.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Right.
Team O'Neill has managed our own racing efforts. I've managed and supported it from the general manager, like business
Okay.
manager.
Yeah.
It gets in the way. Motorsports, the funny thing about rally school is motorsports gets in the way of our core business. It's just far enough away from what we do every day that it's like it's more of a distraction than it is a
Oh,
support
okay.
side of our infrastructure because it takes mechanics away. I need my full-time mechanics to be working on the fleet of cars that we have for rally school,
Oh,
not,
right. Okay.
the infrastructure of a motorsport team. And so, um, we found this out, about 2017, 2018. So we moved all of our racing effort and motorsport effort outside of this Team O'Neill business. And so Tim's race shop and everything is not anywhere on site as our
Oh, yeah.
rallies.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, if I have a team out in Michigan, that's center of the country, the transport would be way less. And
Yep.
we started working with Ryan, and it's like his level of support and the car prep and the team that he has put together is just a great value. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that he's not charging Vermont sports car prices, and I don't need Vermont sports car level service. I just need guys that'll show up and be consistent, that have
Yeah.
a good understanding of the car. They're not, the tier one echelon motorsport F1 guys, but
Right.
they're
Right.
top level USA rally driver mechanics. And
Gotcha.
and so that's what we needed. And that's Ryan has done an amazing job of balancing the priorities of like having really good guys that are really good at this skill without needing to pay for the, $1,000 a day level mechanic. So
Right. Right.
I think TRF has got the best value for service in the country, and so we were able to work together. And TRF had never won a championship either. So like
Okay.
I wanted to win a championship. Glenn
Yep.
had never won a championship. Michelin, we had started talking with Michelin. They were looking to win a first championship in the US with the LTX tires.
Mm-hmm.
Olin's was coming back into this country looking to have a championship
Oh,
with their
right. Yeah.
suspension. So it was all stars aligned for me again in that timing of
Yeah.
this season and being able to put this championship together the way I did. And yeah, so we just really focused on being smart racing,
Right.
and that's hard actually because every rally before that I'd got to do 8 rallies, 8 or 9, and every rally at before was about being as fast as possible at every rally on every stage and just committing fully. Now I have to race with a full season in mind, and like,
Yeah. Okay.
the words of Tim O'Neill in my head of you don't have to win the battle to win the war. And like
Gotcha.
so losing stages is okay.
Mm-hmm.
pulling back at certain points if the car's not right or I'm not right or Glenn's not right. Like if something's wrong, like don't keep 100% commitment and learning how to drive
Right.
with like perspective and I had just never had that experience in my life and at times it was almost boring, boring being like, you just I wasn't so overwhelmed that I like everything was so crazy, like
Yeah.
boring, like everything was slow and smooth and like it just was like a little easier because I'd put all this prep and effort into getting to this point.
Right. Right.
So it was an amazing experience to see and feel all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, I mean, other than my little incident in Ohio, where I could have mathematically won the championship in the first 5 races.
Okay.
Hit a tree in Ohio on the first day,
Right.
and so I didn't finish the rest of the stages, but we pulled the car out of the woods and we drove the car back to service and TRF got it fully back to go and I won the power stage in Ohio.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So like everything was good. I just literally got stuck in the woods and I couldn't get out and that was the only thing that made me not win the championship in Ohio, but kind of made it. So winning at Tennessee, the
Yeah.
team sponsored rally at the home base of Michelin and Olin's, and like
That's pretty sweet.
a little bit of if I could have planned it, I probably would have planned it this way. But
Yeah.
I'm not that smart. But it ended up working out really, really well, really well.
Yeah. So at Overmountain, where you secured the championship, you did have some car issues still because I remember photos
Yeah,
of it without the hood, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I wanted to go the most production-based version of the car that I could, and so we did a stock ECU.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
okay.
so the entire wiring system is still stock in my car. The problem with a stock wiring system is eventually connectors and the parts and pieces come in and out more than they ever would in a production car. Like a lot of this
Oh,
is built
right.
to come
Okay. Yeah.
together in one time. There is something in my system that isn't perfect, and when it gets really hot,
Mm-hmm.
it must separate, and we can't figure out where it is because every
Okay.
time I reset the car, it loses all the data out of the ECU.
Oh,
And so because it's a stock ECU, we have a
yeah.
Cobb little tuner in it, but it doesn't retain the error code of whatever that is. And we had a wiring specialist look at it, and it's like at this point, it's just better if we end up rewiring that car at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, but so heat management is the thing, and we need to let heat escape as much as possible.
Yeah.
And we're at the second to last stage, and the car literally shuts off on transit. I cannot get
Oh,
it to start
wow.
again. So I'm like, Glenn, let's get the hood off. So we took the hood off, threw it in the woods, and took it behind a bunch of bushes because it was a rural, like some rural Tennessee guy
Oh,
drove
yeah.
by with amazing, red and yellow hood with all these kid
Or
signatures.
some
Like,
of the fans would want to go home with that too.
oh, no doubt. So I'm like, I don't want my hood to disappear. So we tucked it in
Yeah.
the bushes, which ended up being a my team had to go out at midnight that night and like they were looking for it with a flashlight. They ended up finding it, but
Good.
yeah, we didn't do a great job pinning where exactly it was. So we're like, there's a
Mm,
2 mile section of road where that thing is tucked in the woods,
yeah.
raining. It was raining. Oh, I feel so bad for those guys. But the transit ended up being just long enough that we were able to let the car cool down. Nick Titman comes up to me, and he's on our team. And I'm like, Nick, if I can't get this car to start, will you pull me to the start? He's like, yeah, no problem. And I'm like, if I can't start the stage, will you pull me to the end of the stage? Like, I just need to finish the rally, and I think I'll still win the
Right,
championship.
right.
He's like, whatever you need, bro, I'll do it. I'm like, thank you. I light the car up and man, it just starts and I go and I start and I get right to the control and it's all downhill. So I turn the car off and we go through the control and we go into the stage start
Oh,
and
wow.
the car is off the whole time. So I got like 7 more minutes of the car cooling down. 15 seconds before the start of the stage, light it up, master on, turn it on, start it, go. Quarter mile down the road, it shuts off again. So it's all still downhill. So I put the car in second gear, it was all on still. So I just popped the clutch and auto started the car
Mm-hmm.
and it drove perfectly for the next 7.5 miles and I finished the stage. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm getting to the very end of that stage and I'm starting to cry on stage because it's like I've the adrenaline
Yeah,
drop of like I'm losing this race and my car's gonna the 2 stages to the end and I'm not gonna win
right.
to being almost at the end of the second to last stage and I'm like choking back tears and I'm like Glenn's
I
like go
bet.
go I'm like
Yeah.
and like we go through the finish control and I just like I'm bawling hard. He's like, dude, just let it out. And we
Yeah.
like get to the finish control and he's like handing out
Oh,
stuff. I
that's
can't see anything because I'm just my eyes are watering so
oh,
bad.
that's great.
I'm just like it's like you know the
Oh yeah.
everything coming together finally of all my entire life of being one stage away from like I still need one more stage, but I'm like we're
Yeah.
one stage away from becoming rally champions. And if you guys see my Dirtfish interview, like
Oh
I,
yeah.
such raw emotion. I've never made those sounds in my entire life, but
Oh
it was
yeah, I saw that. That
I,
was awesome.
I was legitimate, just like 22 years of pent up dreams
Oh
that
yeah.
coming true in that moment. So it was
That's awesome.
overwhelming.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more of the car and why the bear and what all the signatures are about.
Yeah, so my wife and I have been together since we were 18 and part of the life planning that we did around my racing was that we would have a family prior to me going racing
Mm-hmm.
for the potential sad reality of something really bad happen and so like we both agreed we wanted to have a family and kids and we actually decided to do kids before racing
Mm-hmm.
and what I didn't think about though was how to balance that once we got to this point. And so once I started racing it was like how do we integrate the family more into this
Yeah.
and my last name is Sear, and we like to play off our last names a little bit off for different things. And my wife, we're very lucky enough that she can stay home and homeschool.
Oh,
And
nice.
so she came up with the Barely Serious Academy as part of the name of her little homeschool thing.
Oh, okay.
And that really they were able to then use that with the race team. And I have an amazing designer, and we sent him the idea, and he came up with the cartoon bear, and so it was like an awesome thing. And my kids, I look at kids in the park exposés and park fermes, and I
Yeah.
see them like scared of the cars. And I was like, how could we like make kids not scared to be around the cars? And I'm
Good
like,
point. Yeah.
what if we only let kids sign the cars? And I love the look of all these 40-year-old men who I say you can't sign the car when they come up
Yeah.
and see all the signatures. I'm like, it's literally kids only, like
That's awesome.
single
That's
40-year-old
great.
dudes that don't get my whole thing.
Right.
But every 40-year-old mother, I am their number one driver, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah. Oh,
if
yeah.
you let
Right.
my
Because
kids
you're
touch
including
the
their
car,
kids. Yeah.
right. And so it's just really cool. And then a few rallies, my kids were able to come and be there. And so they got to be there and
Mm-hmm.
tell the other kid. They designed the whole car. So they used crayons, and then we sent that to my designer, and he
Uh-huh.
integrated all of my kids' drawings into the wrap and the design. So
Oh, that
what
is
you
really
guys
nice.
see in my car and the way it's designed was purely based off all of my kids' stuff. And
Yeah.
so my kids would, every time another kid would sign in a section, oh, I did this part with this, and all like
Mm-hmm.
it was really cool to integrate them into all of it and
Yeah.
just, you know, be a part of the next phase of passionate about motorsports and my job, I think, as what I thought I could bring to Rally this season, which I didn't feel like there was much representation of, is what are we doing to get the people 10 or 15 years from
Mm-hmm.
now?
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure we had really good posters so that you could have something on the wall for the next 10
Oh,
years
yeah. Right.
to look at. So, it was important for us to have high quality posters, important for us we had some metal bells and things that, just things that we felt could stand the test of time a little bit. That wasn't just
Right.
a tchotchke one-off, and something that you could hopefully continue to aspire to if you're a kid. And it was really cool this year to go to some rallies and see a kid that had his name on my car from last year and like sign
Oh, very
next to it.
nice.
There's a
Yeah.
few kids that got to sign multiple years. And so yeah, no, like that was a amazing opportunity for me and yeah, so the whole integrating my kids and my family into the racing and making it so that they felt a little more connected with me being gone so much. Like this was
Yeah.
it was a big year for everyone in my family that I did this, and it was a weird balancing thing that I didn't think I had to, never considered.
Right,
I
right,
was
right.
so going to win a rally championship is typically pretty selfish, right? Like you want to, it's your dream, it's your vision, it's your thing, and
Yeah, I get
you
it. Yeah.
have your infrastructure around you that's willing to support you to do that. Or some guys don't, but
hmm
I just wanted to try to do what I could to balance that and keep them involved as much as I could. And so
Yeah.
it was a genuine, like my whole program wasn't like a marketing effort. It was just a genuine way for me to try to keep my family involved in my
Yeah.
racing.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And I think everyone can tell just by the way you carry yourself and everything, and the way in the interviews, and you talked about, um, the drive, the each event, and winning in that. I think it's very obvious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I try to be genuine, and that does come with some honesty sometimes too. And
Yeah.
like people ask me their opinion on things, and I don't tend to sugarcoat that. And
Yeah.
sometimes that doesn't go well, but ultimately, like my intent and goal is to give you facts, and sometimes I forget to sugarcoat some of those facts. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just does come with like what does it take to get here? And it's like that's why I always try to caveat it's 22 years of an overnight success. Like
Yeah.
it's my success has been, a very hard fought effort over a long time.
Oh yeah. Right. I forgot to ask about earlier in the season. Tell us about Mitch Meadows and what this bounty was all about.
Yeah, no, this is fun. So one of the big things for me is marketing content about the back of the field, right? And so we haven't seen, there hasn't been a very good effort on anyone's part to t tell stories about people who weren't at the top of the field. And that's because
Yeah.
in rally we all have to pay for our own storytelling. Like,
Yep.
and so I get it. Like Subaru of America is not going to pay to talk about some guy in the very back of a regional field.
Right.
So Mitch and I came together with a concept to do what we called Send It Stories this year and tell the story of the limited two-wheel drive class. And up front, we needed people to pay for it, so only the people who had the budget to willing to pay to be a part of the storytelling got told on the story. But we were able to put 4 or 5 of these competitors at each event together and tell the story of the limited two-wheel drive class
hmm
and posted these videos on YouTube called Send It Stories. Um, at that point, I was winning so much that we thought it'd be good storytelling for us to have a bounty on me and like
Yeah.
actual reason to try to beat me on a stage. And so also in Dirtfish's backyard. So, we wanted the CEO of Team O'Neill coming to the West Coast and
There you
having
go.
somebody come and beat me. And, I think it was just, we were just kind of trying to play off of that
Yeah.
whole thing.
Okay.
So,
That's great.
um, uh, it was awesome. It was really fun. And I lost I lost it because I made one error in my note system and I got turned around on a road and Henry Tabor beat me by 2/10 of a second on that stage.
Wow.
And that was the only stage I lost the whole rally.
Yeah.
And I lost it because I made a mistake and like the it was awesome though that Henry was
Yeah.
able to get in. Watching Henry's growth this year was amazing, and
hmm
he really came into it at the end there, and it's something that pleasure for me to get to have such a good field of limited two-wheel drive drivers this
Yeah.
year. Limited two-wheel drive's been known to be a just pay to championship. Like you just pay them to go to enough events, and typically limited two-wheel drive, you just win the championship.
Yeah.
But the last 2 years has not been like that, and I'm so blessed to have actually won a championship with legitimate competition. And like I had to be on my game all season, and it's
hmm
something that yeah, just really cool that I got to play with those guys. I'm grateful the Tabors came out, grateful Nick came out, grateful that
Yeah.
Santiago came and played on a few rallies. And yeah, and then some of these younger guys that came up and got some podiums. And in Ohio, when I crashed and seeing a podium full of people that you didn't see,
Oh
which was
yeah.
pretty amazing. So like I just If you have not seen the Send It Stories on Mitch Meadows, the Melee Media social media
Yeah.
YouTube channel, you guys should go watch it because we try to make it pretty evergreen content. Like the goal was to tell stories. So kind
Yeah.
of beyond racing, it's worth watching that content because I think you guys actually get to see a good glimpse of like real rally drivers and the grassroots level, more grassroots level of the sport.
Right. Right. So tell us a little bit about your Fuel podcast, and maybe if you can reveal maybe who's coming
Yeah.
up, maybe.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for me, the podcasting was about storytelling too. And so again,
Yeah.
one of my strengths I have felt in business has been human resources and getting to know people and interviewing.
Hmm.
And I've always wanted to do a podcast. And I finally built the infrastructure around Team O'Neill to have a media team that I could actually lean on to do my little personal side project
Hmm.
here. And so we came up with the Field podcast, and Team O'Neill is so amazing. We get exposed to such amazing clients here. I just wanted to like leverage the clients that we had come through the rally school and get a chance to sit and interview with them.
Yeah.
So uh, getting this November 1st, so you might already be, I'm sure this will be posted after that. We will be having Ron Zaris of Hoonigan, who was the photographer and kind of the second hand behind Brian Scotto at
Oh, right.
Hoonigan,
Okay. Yeah.
doing all of Ken's stuff, and then after Ken, the legacy of the 43 Foundation, and just his entire journey into motorsports. And it's an amazing story. One of my most favorite interviews I've done to date. So that's coming up, or is already out now if you're hearing this. And then after that, December 1st is Ryan Turk. So drift legend, New Hampshire local,
Yeah.
and hearing how he got his start in motorsports. And for me, the whole idea of the Fueled podcast is to talk to people who have ability to have done something amazing in their life
Yeah.
and hear about the struggles and the hard things that they had to do to get there.
Right.
Probably one of the biggest disservices I feel in motorsports content is the feeling how unattainable motorsports is for most things. Like
That makes
watching
sense.
Travis do Gymkhana, watching Ken do Gymkhana,
Hmm.
watching these videos is unattainable for all of us, right? Like we
Right.
can't
Right.
use what they've done as a template to follow their path. My entire goal in creating content for Chris Sear personally
Yeah.
is to help hopefully my followers and the people watching this find a path that they could replicate. Because I didn't have one either, right?
Yeah.
I
Right.
I
Right.
didn't have a family or an infrastructure or anyone that I could lean on. I had to learn all this, and it took again 22 years of me learning how to do this. I want to give you guys as much of there's no shortcut, but at
Yeah.
least if
Right.
I can give you a path to follow. And so part of the podcast is the business side of it. How do
Yeah.
you make money? How do you sacrifice the family life for the time? How did you do the things you've done to find success in your life? And is it worth it? And this is kind of the other part of the question. Like, once you get the grass is always greener and you got there, like, do you look back and regret some of the decisions
Right.
you make? And I got to sit with Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard and hear his story and how he got into motorsports.
Yeah.
And like, it's his story was amazing too. And so, yeah, that's the whole point of my podcast is to find someone that has found some sort of success in their
Yeah.
life and break down the struggle and the
Yeah.
sacrifice into hopefully attainable bits that you could use as a listener to replicate in your own life and hopefully find similar success somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, yeah, so that's who's coming up right now. I actually need to start doing some more interviews. That's all I have in the queue. I've got a few more guests that I'm trying to get, but
Cool.
my podcast I do require to come in person. So I have a little bit of this is awesome that you figured
Yeah.
out the way to do this over
Yep.
the internet. But I get so much value in that face to face that I miss a little bit online. So I still require my guests to come in person, and so that's why we only do one a month right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed the podcast, and I'm not a businessman. I don't consider myself a businessman or, really sharp at business. But
Sure.
I've really enjoyed listening to him, and I've learned a lot. My favorites, is Matt Light, because I grew up in Massachusetts as a Patriots fan. and then recently Lance Smith was a great interview as well. I learned a lot there about Lance, and
Yeah, Matt
uh,
Light is an amazing human, and I like
he
the fact
is.
that he was willing to be my first is just another testament to his like investment in other people and like a dream of a vision. Like
Yeah. Oh
his
yeah.
level of fame and wealth, he shouldn't have like let me interview him first. And
Yeah.
I actually interviewed him 2 years ago. So my first podcast interview was is 2 years old, and like it took us a year to come up with enough other guests that I
Oh,
could
okay.
host my first
Oh
interview with
yeah.
him.
It's a lot of work.
And
A lot of people don't
so.
realize how much work it is.
Yeah, and so I just definitely wanted to honor his the
Yeah.
ability that he let me in. The goal of my content it is timeless. So like hopefully listeners can feel confident to go
Mm-hmm.
back and listen to some of
Right.
the old
Right. Right.
if that guest is interview interesting to you. And Kevin is a stunt driver, and I got to interview him. And like so,
Oh
if you're
right.
into
Yeah.
stunt driving and want to learn about the business of stunt driving, his interview is an amazing just journey into what it's
Yeah.
like to be a full lifetime stunt driver.
You had the CFO of Orvis, I think, too. See,
Yep,
I
Rob
love
Dean.
fly fishing. My wife and I, our honeymoon was a week of fly fishing in Maine, so
Oh
it was
man,
nice listening to
I
him
might be
too.
your like my podcast is good for
Probably,
you.
it's like you know exactly what I like and what I'm into. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, we were very lucky. Rob is one of my personal advisors, and
Yeah,
owns a rally car, and so we got
yeah,
connected through rally. But he's an amazing businessman and has an amazing background, and so I just
yeah.
had to get on as well. So, well, thank you for listening, though. It really does
Oh
mean a lot.
yeah,
The
enjoy it.
whole point for me is like I don't need to have millions of listeners of subscribers, but if we had 100 more people that were diehard rally fans out of
Yeah,
the content that we create, that's a huge impact in our business and our
yeah.
sport now, right? So like we don't need big impact in that realm. Just want to give resources out to the people who really want it.
Right, yeah. And I feel with my podcast, if I may talk about it a little bit, is
Please.
that
Oh,
I like interviewing the volunteers and some of
right,
the people that are kind of behind the scenes and not so much the, big stars of rally.
right.
Even though David Higgins will be coming on, but I kind of enjoy that. And
You
another
have to
thing,
mix that in a little, but I think like
yeah,
what you guys have done is a really cool design of like the true storytelling. And that's kind of
yeah,
what the Send It Stories concept was with Mitch and I. But you're doing the real work and actually getting to the guys that are like the true heart of our sport
yeah,
and
it's fun.
capturing stories. So I'm very grateful that you're doing
Oh,
your
thank
effort.
you. Yeah, I'm learning a lot. And one other thing I like seeing, and some podcasters may not, is when I look at how many downloads I have each day, I'll take a look at it. And I actually like the fact that it really drops off on Saturdays and Sundays.
Hmm.
Because I feel like, all right, you should be in the shop working on your car on Saturday, and you should be spending time with your friends and family on Sunday.
I like that.
So it doesn't bother me when I see a dip like that on the weekends or something. So yeah,
You're hitting the crowd you want to have
yeah,
listen. That's
right,
perfect.
yeah, exactly. So well, I really appreciate the time you've taken today
Yeah,
out of your
we
workday.
went
And
deeper than I think we thought we both were going. So I
oh no,
appreciate
this
you
is
giving me
fantastic. I've
the
learned a
freedom to
lot, and
talk.
really look forward to the future podcasts and what your ARA schedule will be like next year.
Yeah, I don't see myself racing next year, to be honest, with the
Yeah,
family commitments and everything else I have
yeah,
going on. I hope to do maybe a one-off or two, but I'm definitely not pursuing a championship, and it's something that I hope to be out there though. And
yeah,
if anyone wants, I have all this information of what it took to win a championship. If I could help anyone else that's looking to go win a championship, happy
yeah.
to, give some more advice. Or Team O'Neill, or obviously
Mm-hmm.
training people every day of the week in rally drivers training. So if you want a chance to get in a rally car and come slide around, come see us up here in northern New Hampshire.
Yeah. And what's the best way of getting a hold of you?
Yeah, personally, if you're trying to get directly to me, Chris, Chris, at teamoneil.com, and that's Oneil, just one L. A lot of people get that wrong,
Mm-hmm.
is my email. If you want to get to Team O'Neill and book a class, teamoneil.com, and that's Oneil again. And otherwise, 603-444-4488 is the main line. It's Carl or myself or Sarah answers here. We're not a massive team. So if you
Yeah.
need to talk to somebody and want to know something about the sport or booking a class or anything else that we do, happy to have those conversations.
Fantastic. And thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.